Hello and welcome. This is In the Studio. My name's Donny Carr, and it's episode number 61. Today I have a tantalizing little technique for you. We'll be making a evolving like hat or shaker groove, but out of white noise that has like a sense of evolution and just a more human feel to it. So let's get right to it. I'll show you um, what we'll be working towards, and then I'll just delete everything and we'll recreate it. So this is the little hat groove. Listen for the white noise, shaker sound. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete everything now, and then we're going to recreate it. So I'm just going to take all these off. Okay, so first thing you need is just something that generates white noise, and pretty much most synths have a white noise generator, built into them already. So I just use the 3X OSC that comes native with FL Studio, and all I did was just lay down a basic 16th pattern in the piano roll like so. Simple, 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 and then just shorten the notes up a little bit. So that's all that's going on there in the piano roll. So once you have that laid down, let's see how that's going to sound. You know what? First thing I'm going to take this off. Let's reset the envelope. So that's how it's going to sound just without the envelope on it. So let's go ahead and dial this envelope in for the volume. So I'm going to pull back on the attack, take the release down, take the sustain down. For right now, I'll pull down the release, and let's just pull back on this decay until we get more of like a shaker hat sound. See, you pull it back far enough, and that white noise turns into a hat shaker. So, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so now what we want to do is I want to modulate the decay and the release over time with an LFO. So let's put a LFO on that channel. We're just going to use the peak controller here. But before I do that, I'm going to put on a EQ, and we're going to take out some of that low end, which just we don't need. Just take out some of the low end that you don't need there, and then I just rolled off some of the harsh high frequencies as well. Okay, so let's get back to the LFO. What we're going to do is link the decay and the release to the LFO. So just right click and not create automation clip. No. Link to controller. And we're going to select the LFO here. Hit accept. We're going to do the same thing for the release. Link to controller. LFO, and if this remove conflicts is selected like that, you want to deselect it so it links both those parameters to the same LFO and hit accept. Now we can go into the LFO. Let's pull the LFO. Oh, it looks like the release got linked, but the decay didn't for some reason. So let's there you go. Okay. Ah, I accidentally linked the release to the peak, which could be an interesting effect, I guess, but not for this one. Okay, now they're both moving together. So what I'm actually going to do though is I'm not going to dial this in. We're going to actually be modulating this LFO with another LFO. So I'll explain that a little bit more in a second, but right now I just want to use this bass here to dial in where we want the actual envelope to be at its most closed. Maybe right there, and we'll change the shape. Probably, I'm going to change it to a triangle, or excuse me, a saw. Okay, now we're going to use another LFO on the same channel. So we'll use another peak controller, and I'm going to pretty much use this second LFO as a on-off switch for this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to link um, the volume of this LFO to this one. So let's right click here, and we're going to link to controller, and we're going to go to the LFO here. Actually to, yes. Okay. Now when I pull this up, it's going to move that. So what we want to do is pull the bass up of this one so that it's at its starting point. So right there, because we want that envelope to, that's where we want it to stay to start. We don't want it to get any more closed than that. So now we can use this volume to control the movement of the decay and release here. But what I'm going to do is actually, so you can see that. But what I'm going to do is turn this to a triangle, and I'm going to flip the phase here. The reason I flip the phase is I want it to be off for the first half of the bar and then turn on for the second half of the bar. So if I turn the phase the other way, it'll just be opposite. It'll be on for the first half and then off for the second. So that's just, you know, whatever you wanted to do there. Nice. And then you can use this to control how much of the actual, you know, modulation on the decay and the release is going to be happening. And then you could also change the speed up and get some different grooves here. So maybe you can go for like 3 steps. That has a nice groove to it. Let's try something else. I think I had it on. And that's what I originally had it on when I first showed it to you is 8, and that way it just kind of grows and for the second half of the bar and then closes back down again. And then you can, you know, then you have everything here that you can adjust to taste. And then I just added a little bit of a pan on that to give it even more movement back and forth. So let's do that. Just using the pan-o-matic, and this is something that I wouldn't time sync. I just let this free flow and move back and forth, to whatever sounds best with the groove. So we'll just turn it on the pan here. We'll turn up the mount a little bit. Right, and then from there you could, add a little bit of reverb and a little bit of sidechain, or maybe like a tremolo effect, excuse me. And yeah, so I just wanted to show you this portion mainly, using modulating a modulator and some of the things you could do with that, and also utilizing white noise to make, effective parts for your track. So that's the video for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. Leave me a comment, leave me a question, and I'll see you soon. Take care.
Every time we wrote a song, that was unbelievable.